She screamed, "I don't need you. I've always had better options." I said, "Then you won't need my help either." Weeks later, stranded at 2 a.m. with a broken car and a dead phone, she finally realized options don't equal loyalty, that I never thought I'd be the guy typing one of these stories out. You know the ones where someone says, "I should have seen it coming, but didn't." Where all the red flags were there, painted bright as day, but you convince yourself they're just quirks, not deal breakers. That was me with Kira. We met 2 years ago at a friend's birthday dinner. She was magnetic, the kind of person everyone gravitates toward. Loud laugh, quick wit, flawless hair that she somehow always styled like she'd walked out of a salon. I'm quieter by nature, an IT systems analyst, happiest in a hoodie with noise-canceling headphones on. But that night, she singled me out. "You look like the guy who could fix my Wi-Fi when it breaks," she teased, sipping her cocktail. I should have rolled my eyes. Instead, I laughed. Because when someone like Kira pays attention to you, you feel like you've been pulled into the sun. The first 6 months were good, if a little lopsided. She liked expensive brunches, rooftop bars, last-minute road trips to whatever winery had the prettiest photos on Instagram. I liked, well, affordable things. Quiet evenings, board games with friends, a good burger joint, not a $22 avocado toast. But when you're in the honeymoon stage, you compromise. I told myself, I make decent money. If it makes her happy, what's a few extra expenses? And for a while, it felt worth it. She'd grab my arm in front of her friends, brag about how thoughtful I was, post photos captioned, "Best man, best life." The cracks started small. One night, I suggested staying in, cooking dinner together, maybe watching a movie. She wrinkled her nose. "Babe, we're too young to be boring. That's what married people in the suburbs do." Or the time she asked if I could help cover part of her car payment, just this once, because she'd splurged on a weekend trip with her girlfriends. When I hesitated, she scoffed. "You act like money is everything. Relax, I've always had options. I don't need you." It stung, but I brushed it off. She said it during a fight. People say things they don't mean when they're upset. At least, that's what I told myself. By year one, the pattern was undeniable. Kira lived like she had a safety net the size of Texas, even though she barely scraped by at her marketing job. She jumped from one big expense to another: new clothes, weekend getaways, fancy gyms. She leaned on me more and more, sometimes subtly. "Can you grab dinner tonight? I'm stretched thin until payday." Sometimes less so. "My car insurance hit, and I can't swing it this month. You'll cover me, right?" I should have drawn firmer boundaries. Instead, I rationalized. It's temporary. She'll get promoted soon. She'll grow out of this phase. But every time I tried to gently talk about budgeting, or saving, or just being more careful, she snapped. "Stop trying to fix me. This is who I am. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not the guy for me." And like an idiot, I'd back down. The breaking point came at a party one of her coworkers threw. I was making small talk with a couple of people near the kitchen when I overheard her voice from the patio. She was half drunk, laughing loudly, talking to a group of her friends. "Please, I don't need him. I've always had better options. He's just convenient." The words cut like glass. I slipped outside later, asked her what she meant. She waved it off. "Ugh, don't be so sensitive. It's just talk." But I couldn't unhear it. I couldn't shake the realization that, to her, I was plan B. A wallet with a pulse. Someone reliable to lean on when her other options weren't around. A week later, we fought again, this time about me refusing to cover her impulse purchase, a $600 designer bag. She screamed, red in the face. "I don't need you. I've always had better options." Something inside me finally clicked. I took a deep breath, looked her in the eye, and said calmly, "Then you won't need my help either." She froze, like she hadn't expected me to call her bluff. But I didn't yell, didn't argue. I just packed up my things that night and left her in the apartment we'd been sharing. The lease was under her name anyway. I'd been the one covering most of the rent, but I wasn't about to keep carrying dead weight. For the first time in 2 years, I felt free. The irony came 2 weeks later. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. It was Kira. I ignored it. Then another call. And another. Finally, a voicemail. Her voice, frantic, on the edge of tears. "My car broke down. I'm stranded. No one's picking up. Please, I need you." She'd called her so-called options. Her flirty coworkers, her friends with benefits from before me, even her own sister. No one came. She called me, and for once, I didn't answer. That night, lying in bed, I realized something. Options don't equal loyalty. People who treat you like a placeholder will never be there when it matters. And the girl who screamed that she didn't need me? She was right. She doesn't need me. Because I'm done. The first week after I walked out felt strange, quiet, but in the best way. No more surprise Amazon packages showing up at the door. No more panicked. Babe, I maxed out my card. Can you spot me? Texts. Just silence, space, and the relief of knowing I wasn't responsible for anyone else's recklessness. I moved into a modest one-bedroom apartment closer to work. It wasn't fancy, no skyline views, no rooftop pool, but it was mine. Paid for by me, furnished by me, stress-free. When I turned the key that first night, I felt like I'd stepped into actual freedom. Of course, Kira didn't let me go easily. At first, she was angry. My phone blew up with texts. You're really going to abandon me after everything I've done for you. Good luck finding someone who looks like me. You'll come crawling back. I didn't respond. Then the tone shifted. Hey, I overreacted. Can we talk? I miss you. Let's start over. I've been thinking about budgeting better. Maybe we could work through it together. It was classic Kira. Rage, followed by charm when rage didn't work. I kept my distance. I wasn't rude, but I was firm. No, I'm done. She didn't take it well. One night, I came home from work to find her waiting outside my new apartment building. She leaned against her car, arms crossed, like some rom-com heroine waiting for the big reconciliation scene. I just want to talk, she said, smiling like nothing had happened. I sighed. Kira, there's nothing to talk about. You said you didn't need me. You made it clear. Her smile faltered. I didn't mean it like that. I shook my head. You did. You just didn't think I'd call you on it. Her eyes narrowed. So what? You're just going to throw away 2 years. I wanted to laugh. 2 years of what? Me bankrolling your lifestyle while you treated me like a placeholder? Instead, I just said, I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing better for myself. She left in a huff, slamming her car door, peeling out of the parking lot. The calls at 2 a.m. became a pattern. Not always emergencies, sometimes just drunken rambling, sometimes desperate pleading. I blocked her number. She found me on Instagram. Blocked there too. She made a new account. Same cycle. Then I started hearing from mutual friends. Hey, Kira's been asking about you a lot. She told me she's trying to get her life together. She says you're being cold. I'd shrug. I'm not cold. I'm just done. And it was true. For the first time, I actually meant it. Meanwhile, I started rediscovering myself. I reconnected with friends I drifted from during my relationship, guys I used to grab beers with, coworkers I used to game with on weekends. They all said the same thing. Man, it's good to have you back. I picked up hobbies I'd let slide. I joined a local climbing gym. I started cooking more. Real meals, not just takeout or whatever Kira wanted. I even booked a trip for myself. Something I'd always wanted to do, but never could because she'd insist on places that looked better on her Instagram than they felt in real life. Life felt lighter. But the real turning point came about a month later. I ran into Kira by accident at a coffee shop near my office. She looked different. Not bad, exactly, but tired. Like the shine had worn off. She spotted me and immediately lit up. Oh my God, hey. I gave her a polite nod. Hey, Kira. She launched into conversation like nothing had happened. Told me she'd moved back in with her mom because the apartment was too expensive. Complained that her car was still unreliable. Mentioned that her friends had been flaky lately. Then she leaned in and said, You know, we really were good together. I've been thinking maybe we could try again. For real this time. I set my coffee down and looked her in the eye. Kira, let me ask you something. When your car broke down at 2 a.m., who came to help you? She blinked. No one. Right, I said. Not your friends, not your options, not the people you said were better than me. No one. That's loyalty or lack of it. And you showed me the same thing. You had options, but no loyalty. And that's why we're done. Her face hardened. So that's it. You're just walking away. I already did. I stood, tossed my cup, and walked out. I didn't look back. That night, I realized something important. For 2 years, I'd been living in her world, on her terms, funding her lifestyle while ignoring the pit in my stomach that told me it wasn't right. Now, I was living in mine, and it felt damn good. Update. It had been almost 2 months since I last saw Kira at that coffee shop. After that conversation, I figured she'd finally take the hint and move on. For a while, It seemed like she had. No calls, no texts, no burner Instagram accounts sliding into my DMs. Just silence. I won't lie. I half expected her to pop back up, but I was enjoying the quiet too much to care. My life was moving forward. Work was steady. I had a couple of projects I was excited about, and my circle of friends was growing again. For the first time in years, I didn't feel drained all the time. Then, on a Friday night, the silence broke. I was at a friend's birthday dinner when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. 10 minutes later, another buzz. Then another. By the time I stepped outside to check, there were 6 missed calls and one voicemail. The voicemail was short, panicked. Please, it's Kira. I need to talk to you. Just, please call me back. I didn't. Instead, I went back inside, ordered another drink, and enjoyed the night. The next morning, though, there she was, waiting outside my building again, just like before. Her makeup was smudged, her hair tied back like she hadn't bothered trying, and her clothes looked wrinkled, like she'd slept in them. We need to talk, she said. I sighed. Kira, this isn't healthy. For you or me. She shook her head quickly, like she hadn't heard me. Listen, I've been thinking about what you said. About loyalty. About how no one was there for me when I needed them. You were right. Kira. No, let me finish, she interrupted, voice shaking. I thought I had options. I thought I didn't need anyone. But when everything fell apart, the only person I wanted to call was you. You were the one who always showed up. And I threw that away. I was wrong. Her words hung heavy in the morning air. For the first time, I almost believed her. Almost. But then I remembered the years of disrespect, the mocking comments about my job, the entitled spending, the way she dismissed my feelings as if they were inconveniences. Kira, I said softly, I don't doubt you're hurting. I don't even doubt that you might mean what you're saying right now. But this isn't about me anymore. It's about you. You have to figure out who you are without leaning on someone else to hold you up. She stared at me, eyes wide, like she couldn't process the words. So that's it. You don't even want to try? I shook my head. No, I don't. Trying again would just put me back in the same cycle, and I've worked too hard to get out of it. Her lips trembled, and for a second I thought she might break down crying. But instead, her face hardened. Fine, she spat. You think you're better than me now? Enjoy your boring little life. And just like that, she stormed off, phone already in her hand, no doubt texting someone else to vent. The thing is, her words didn't sting this time. If anything, they confirmed everything I already knew. That wasn't a woman ready to change. That was a woman scrambling to avoid consequences. After that day, she stopped showing up. No more late-night calls, no more dramatic speeches. She vanished completely, leaving me with one final reminder of why I walked away in the first place. And me? I kept moving forward. A couple of months later, I got a promotion at work. I celebrated with friends who actually cared about me, people who showed up not because of what I could provide, but because they wanted to. Life didn't magically become perfect, but it was steady, peaceful, mine. I sometimes think about Kira, not with anger anymore, but with a strange kind of pity. She thought options equaled power. She thought attention equaled love. She thought loyalty was disposable. But when her car broke down at 2 a.m., when her friends stopped answering, when her safety net vanished, she learned the hard way that options don't mean much when none of them are truly there for you. I wasn't cruel when I left. I just stopped carrying the weight that was never mine to hold. And walking away wasn't just the end of a toxic relationship. It was the start of the life I should have been living all along. Final update. A year passed. Honestly, I hadn't thought about Kira in months. Life had moved on, really moved on. My work had taken off in ways I didn't expect. The promotion I mentioned earlier wasn't just a bump in pay. It gave me the freedom to take on projects that challenged me and gave me real satisfaction. I'd moved into a new apartment. Not flashy, not luxury, just mine. It was warm, filled with things I liked, and quiet. Most importantly, I wasn't alone anymore. I had started dating someone new, a woman named Rachel. From the start, everything felt different. She didn't care about appearances or status symbols. She cared about how I treated her, about laughter over cheap takeout, about Sunday mornings spent reading side by side. For the first time, I felt like a relationship wasn't a transaction. It was a partnership. I hadn't seen or heard from Kira since that morning she stormed off outside my building. I assumed she had moved on, too. Probably found someone else to bankroll her lifestyle. It wasn't my business anymore. But life has a way of throwing unexpected encounters at you. One evening, Rachel and I were invited to a friend's engagement party. It was being held at a trendy rooftop bar, the kind of place Kira used to drag me to against my will. We almost didn't go. I'd had a long week, but I wanted to show up for my buddy. The place was buzzing with music, laughter, and clinking glasses. Rachel looked radiant in a simple black dress, and I felt proud just walking in with her. And then, across the room, I saw Kira. At first, I wasn't even sure it was her. She looked different, not in the glowing, put-together way she used to present herself, but worn down. Her once meticulously styled hair hung flat. Her clothes looked expensive but ill-fitting, and her eyes carried a restless kind of energy. She saw me at almost the same moment. Her expression flickered, shock, recognition, and then something I couldn't quite place. Rachel and I mingled, chatted, and laughed with friends. For a while, I forgot Kira was even there. But then, during a lull, she made her way over. "Hey," she said quietly, almost cautiously. "Hey," I replied, polite but distant. Rachel smiled warmly at her, unaware of our history. Kira's eyes darted between us before she forced a smile. "So, how have you been?" I gave her the truth, but only the surface-level version. "Good. Work's going well. Life's been steady." She nodded slowly, almost sadly. "That's great. Really." There was an awkward pause. Then she blurted, "You look happy." "I am," I said simply. And I meant it. Her lips trembled just slightly. "That's good. I. I'm glad." Rachel excused herself to grab drinks, and Kira leaned in a little closer. Her voice dropped. "I just wanted to say, I get it now. Everything you said. About loyalty. About how I treated you. I didn't see it then, but you were the only one who ever really cared." I studied her for a moment. She looked genuine, but also fragile, like someone finally facing the fallout of choices they'd ignored too long. "Kira," I said gently, "I don't hate you. I don't even resent you anymore. But we're on different paths now, and I like where mine is going." Her eyes glossed over, and she gave a small nod. "Yeah, I figured." Rachel returned then, slipping her hand into mine with that easy familiarity. I saw the way Kira's eyes lingered on our intertwined fingers before she forced another smile and stepped back. "Well," she said softly, "take care of yourself." "You too," I replied. And just like that, she walked away. That was the last time I saw her. Later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that her options had dried up. Friends drifted away, tired of the drama. The guys she once leaned on for attention never stuck around. Without loyalty, without real connection, her life was a revolving door of short-lived highs and long crashes back to reality. Meanwhile, my world grew fuller. Rachel and I built something steady, something worth protecting. My friendships deepened. My peace remained intact. Sometimes, in quiet moments, I think about Kira, not with anger, not even with pity anymore, but with clarity. She taught me a lesson I'll never forget. Love without respect isn't love. Options without loyalty aren't security. And silence, when given to the wrong person, can be the loudest truth they'll ever hear. So when I look back now, I don't think of the chaos she brought into my life. I think of the freedom that came when I let it go. She screamed once that she didn't need me. And maybe that was true. But the part she never admitted was that she didn't need herself either, at least not the version she was unwilling to grow from. As for me, I stopped being the safety net. And in doing so, I became something stronger, the architect of my own peace. And there's no better ending than that.